The breaking point. The quantum broadcast cut through every channel, every feed, every neural link across Earth and her colonies. There was no warning, no diplomatic courtesy, no attempt to negotiate. The Galactic Council had made their decision, and they wanted humanity to watch. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the HFY Hyperion, her knuckles white against the command rail as the broadcast flickered across the main view screen. The Arbiter's Chamber of the Galactic Council gleamed with its characteristic crystalline opulence, but today it served as an execution ground. 23 human prisoners knelt in a line, their uniforms stripped of rank and insignia. Marines, pilots, engineers, all captured during the border skirmishes of Proxima Centauri. Each face bore the marks of interrogation, but their eyes remained defiant. High Arbiter Zax Corian, his iridescent scales catching the light, stepped forward. Let the galaxy witness the price of defiance. Humanity has refused our generous offers of vassalage. They persist in their dangerous expansion, their reckless technological development, their stubborn independence. Sarah's jaw clenched. The generous offers had demanded Earth surrender 90% of its fleet, submit to genetic restrictions, and accept alien oversight of all technological development. The Council feared humanity's rapid progress, their inability to control or predict what these upstart primates might achieve next. The first shot rang out, then another, and another. Methodical, precise. The Council wasn't just executing prisoners. They were making a statement. Lieutenant Commander James Rodriguez, Sarah's tactical officer, swore quietly in Spanish. "Admiral, Fleet Command is requesting emergency conference." "Put them through," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the rage burning in her chest. The view screen split, showing the grim faces of Earth's military leadership. General Zhang of the Combined Earth Defense Force, Admiral Okonjo of the Mars Fleet, Commander Puddle of the Outer Colony Militia. General Zhang spoke first. "The Council has crossed a line they cannot uncross. We've detected major fleet movements across all their primary sectors. They're preparing for war." "They've been preparing for years," Commander Patel interjected. "Those border skirmishes weren't random. They were testing our capabilities, our responses. They've just decided they've gathered enough intelligence to move." Sarah studied the tactical overlays streaming across her neural link. The Council's forces were impressive. Over 40 spacefaring species, thousands of years of combined technological development, millions of ships. But humanity had advantages they couldn't imagine. "The Prometheus Protocol," Sarah said quietly. The others fell silent. "It's ready?" Admiral Okonjo nodded slowly. "The quantum laboratories on Titan confirmed success. But Sarah, using it means crossing a line of our own. The ethical implications." "They executed our people on live broadcast," Sarah cut in. "They're coming to exterminate us." "Admiral, ethics won't matter if humanity is extinct." The Prometheus Protocol was humanity's closest guarded secret. While the Council had focused on preventing human expansion into space, they'd missed the real revolution happening in Earth's quantum laboratories. The ability to manipulate probability fields at a fundamental level, to alter the very fabric of spacetime. The Council's technology was advanced, but it followed predictable paths. Humanity had chosen to walk a different road entirely. "We need unanimous agreement," General Zhang reminded them. "Once we activate the protocol, there's no going back. The changes to local spacetime will be permanent." One by one, they'd voiced their agreement. Sarah felt the weight of history settling onto her shoulders. Humanity had spent centuries dreaming of first contact, hoping to find friends among the stars. Instead, they'd found an empire of fear, species so traumatized by ancient wars that they'd built a galactic society around the prevention of change itself. "Send the response," Sarah ordered. The message was brief, broadcast on all frequencies in every known language. "Humanity accepts your declaration of war. Remember, you chose this path." Across the solar system, hidden quantum arrays hummed to life. In secure bunkers, scientists initiated sequences they'd hoped never to use. On the Hyperion's bridge, Sarah opened a channel to her crew. "All hands, this is the Admiral. You've seen what happened. You know what's coming. The Council thinks they understand humanity, that we're predictable, manageable, that we'll break under their superior numbers. They're wrong. They see our adaptability as a threat, our creativity as a danger, our determination as a flaw to be corrected. Today, we prove them right about one thing. We are dangerous." She paused, watching as her tactical displays showed the first wave of Council ships entering the outer solar system. Thousands of vessels, moving with the confidence of an unstoppable force. Humanity didn't want this war. We tried diplomacy. We offered cooperation. We extended our hands in peace, and they responded with execution. So be it. Let them come with their fleets, their technology, their certainty in their own superiority. We will show them why humanity has survived every catastrophe our world has thrown at us. We will show them why we don't break. The Prometheus Protocol reached full power. Across the solar system, space itself began to change. The Council's ships suddenly found their carefully plotted quantum tunnels shifting, their navigation systems encountering phenomena their science said were impossible. This was humanity's response, not just weapons or shields, but the ability to change the rules of reality itself. "Battle stations," Sarah ordered. "Let's remind the galaxy why you should never corner a species that turned its own planet's biosphere into a survival game." And won. The klaxons sounded. The Hyperion's quantum drive engaged. Across the solar system, humanity's forces moved to their positions. The Council had started this war with an execution. Humanity would end it by rewriting the laws of physics themselves. The breaking point had been reached. The galaxy would never be the same. Operation Thunderstrike. 3 weeks after the breaking point, reality itself had become a weapon of war. The Prometheus Protocol had transformed the solar system into a quantum maze, where human ships could navigate with practiced ease, while Council vessels found themselves trapped in probability eddies and spatial distortions. But it wasn't enough. The Council's numbers were overwhelming, and they were learning, adapting. They'd lost thousands of ships to the altered physics of local space, but millions more were coming. Humanity needed to strike back. Dr. Maya Patel stood in the secure laboratory beneath Titan's frozen surface, watching quantum probability matrices dance across her holographic displays. Behind her, Admiral Chen and the other military leaders had gathered for what might be humanity's most important military operation since the Unification Wars. "The protocol exceeded our expectations," Maya explained, her hands moving through the crystalline data structures floating before her. "We're not just changing local space-time. We're learning to weaponize it." She brought up a simulation of a Council dreadnought, one of their kilometer-long behemoths that could glass a planet with a single salvo. Their ships are incredible pieces of engineering, but they rely on fundamental constants we can now adjust. The simulation showed the dreadnought attempting to fire its main weapon. In normal space, it would have unleashed enough energy to crack a continent. But in protocol-modified space, the laws of thermodynamics hiccuped. The weapon's energy turned inward, converting the massive ship into a temporary miniature sun. "Operation Thunderstrike," General Zhang said, studying the simulation. "We're not just going to fight them. We're going to make their own technology betray them." Admiral Chen nodded. "How soon?" "The quantum arrays are ready," Maya replied. "But there's a catch. To achieve the effect we want, we need to get closer to their main fleet. Much closer." The tactical display shifted to show the current situation. The Council's Armada had pushed past Neptune, establishing a massive staging area around Uranus. Their ships formed a sphere hundreds of thousands of kilometers across, a wall of firepower that could reduce Earth to ash. "The Hyperion will lead the attack," Sarah decided. "We've had the most success navigating protocol-modified space. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez has developed new tactical algorithms that..." The alert klaxons cut her off. Maya's displays flashed red as new data poured in. They're moving. Multiple quantum signatures. They figured out how to partially stabilize local space-time. The Council fleet was advancing, pushing through the quantum distortions with brute force. They were losing ships, but far fewer than before. They'd adapted faster than anyone had predicted. "Launch now," Sarah ordered. "We can't wait for perfect conditions." "Maya, you're with me. We'll need you to adjust the protocol in real time." Within hours, the Hyperion led a fleet of 300 ships toward the Council Armada. To any normal observer, it would have looked like suicide. 300 against millions. But humanity had learned long ago that numbers alone didn't determine victory. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen. Operation Thunderstrike is go. Remember your training. Remember what they did to our people. Remember that we're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for humanity's right to determine its own destiny." The Council fleet detected them immediately. Thousands of ships moved to intercept, their weapons charging. But something was different. The human ships weren't moving like normal vessels. They were blurring. In the Hyperion's quantum lab, Maya's fingers danced across her controls. Protocol modification Alpha 7 active, creating probability shadows. Each human ship suddenly existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously, making it impossible for Council targeting systems to get a lock. Their first salvos passed harmlessly through probability ghosts, while the real ships slipped through their lines. "They're trying to adjust," Rodriguez reported from Tactical, detecting massive energy buildup in their flagship. Sarah smiled grimly. "Just as we predicted." Maya, initiating Protocol Shift Beta 3. Localize reality inversion in 3, 2, 1. The Council flagship, a massive vessel that dwarfed even their dreadnoughts, brought its main gun to bear. Energy gathered at its bow, ready to unleash devastation. But when it fired, the laws of physics had changed. The beam inverted, turning back on itself. Chain reactions rippled through the quantum-modified space. Ship after ship fell victim to their own weapons, creating a cascade of destruction that ripped through their formation. "Multiple quantum detonations," Rodriguez called out. "Their fleet coordination is breaking down. They can't maintain their space-time stabilization fields." The Hyperion shuddered as a near miss disrupted its probability field. On the bridge, Sarah watched as humanity's greatest gamble played out. The Council had expected a conventional battle, where their superior numbers and technology would guarantee victory. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that could change the rules of reality itself. "Second wave, execute attack pattern Delta," Sarah ordered. "Maya, prepare for Protocol Shift Gamma 1." The human fleet split into 3 groups, each appearing to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Council ships fired desperately, but their weapons behaved unpredictably in the modified spacetime. Some shots looped back on themselves, others simply ceased to exist, converted into quantum potential energy that Maya's systems quickly harnessed. "Energy conversion at 300% efficiency," Maya reported. "The protocol is learning, adapting. It's becoming more than we designed it to be." Sarah felt a chill despite the bridge's regulated temperature. The Prometheus protocol had been humanity's desperate gamble, a way to level the playing field against a vastly superior force. But what were they really unleashing? The battle raged for hours, reality itself becoming a battleground as human ingenuity clashed with Council might. When it was over, the staging area around Uranus had become a graveyard of twisted metal and quantum anomalies. The Council had lost over 1 million ships, and for the first time in their history, they were retreating. But as Sarah watched the enemy fleet pull back, she knew this was just the beginning. The Council would return, with new weapons and tactics. They would adapt, as all successful species did, but so would humanity. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Operation Thunderstrike successful. But tell them." She paused, watching as reality itself shimmered with the aftereffects of their weapons. Tell them the protocol is evolving. We may have opened a door we can't close. Maya's displays showed the quantum matrices becoming more complex, more unpredictable. The tool they had created to save humanity was growing beyond their control. Perhaps that, too, was inevitable. After all, humanity had a long history of creating things they couldn't fully control and surviving the consequences. The war for humanity's future had truly begun. And like the laws of physics themselves, nothing would ever be the same. The Hunter's Shadow. Captain Marcus Way crouched in the maintenance shaft of the Council space station Meridian 7, his quantum stealth suit adapting to match the surrounding metal's electromagnetic signature. Behind him, 5 members of Shadow Team waited in perfect stillness. They'd spent 6 months penetrating deep into Council space, gathering intelligence, and now they'd found something that could change the course of the war. His neural implant tingled as Dr. Maya Patel's voice whispered through the quantum-encrypted channel. The protocol modifications are holding, Marcus. You've got 20 minutes before the local space-time stabilizes. The Prometheus protocol had evolved far beyond its original design. What started as a way to alter physical laws had become something closer to programming reality itself. Shadow Team suits didn't just hide them. They temporarily rewrote the probability of their detection to nearly 0. Copy that, Marcus subvocalized. Moving to Phase 2, the team slipped through the station like quantum ghosts. Council security systems, designed to detect normal matter and energy signatures, were blind to beings that technically existed in multiple states simultaneously. But they couldn't maintain that state for long. Their target was the station's central data core. Intelligence suggested that Meridian 7 served as a key research facility where the Council was developing countermeasures to the Prometheus protocol. After Operation Thunderstrike, they'd adapted faster than anyone expected, finding ways to shield their ships from localized reality changes. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, now Fleet Admiral Chen's niece and protege, moved ahead of the group, her quantum sensors probing for security measures. 6 guards in the next junction, she reported, using probability shields. Marcus nodded. The Council had learned quickly, developing technology that could maintain a bubble of stable space-time around their forces. It made them harder to kill, but it also made them easier to detect in protocol-modified space. Time to test the new toys, he decided. Cole, you're up. Sergeant Cole retrieved a small device from his pack, the latest creation from Maya's quantum labs. They called it a probability bomb, though it didn't actually explode. Instead, it created a localized field where quantum uncertainty approached infinity. The device rolled silently down the corridor. The guards never saw it. When it activated, there was no sound, no flash, no conventional effect at all. Instead, quantum probability collapsed around them. For a microsecond, every possible state of their existence occurred simultaneously. When reality stabilized, they were gone, scattered across a billion parallel possibilities. Clear, Sarah reported, her voice tight. The quantum weapons still disturbed her, as they disturbed everyone who understood what they really did. They didn't kill so much as erase, removing things from reality itself. The team moved forward, approaching the data core, but Marcus felt uneasy. Something about the station's layout, the security patterns. Maya, he subvocalized, run a deep scan of the local quantum field. Does anything feel off to you? There was a pause as Maya analyzed the data from their suits. Wait, these patterns. The station's ambient field is too stable. They're using something to. Alarms screamed. Reality shuddered. The team's quantum states began to collapse. It's a trap, Marcus shouted. They've got a quantum stabilization field. Full spectrum. The Council had turned the entire station into a probability trap. By maintaining perfectly stable space-time throughout the structure, they forced anything using quantum uncertainty into a single detectable state. Shadow Team's stealth suits failed as reality reasserted itself. Council forces poured into the corridor, wearing armor that glowed with the telltale shimmer of probability shielding. But Marcus smiled. The Council had made a crucial mistake. Maya, execute Shadow Protocol. The quantum stabilization field had forced them into normal space, but that meant the Council forces were now bound by normal physics too. Shadow Team had trained for both quantum and conventional warfare. The corridor erupted in chaos. Council energy weapons spat deadly beams, but Shadow Team was already moving. Their suits, even without quantum stealth, enhanced their speed and strength far beyond normal human limits. Marcus vaulted over a barricade, his monofilament blade slicing through probability-shielded armor as if it didn't exist. Sarah's quantum pulse rifle sent enemies spinning into walls with bone-crushing force. Cole deployed conventional explosives, using the station's own stable spacetime to ensure maximum effect. The data core, Marcus ordered. We've got one shot at this. They fought their way forward, using every trick and technique humanity had developed over centuries of warfare. The Council forces were individually powerful, but they relied too heavily on their advanced technology. They weren't prepared for humans who could fight effectively without quantum manipulation. Sarah reached the core first, planting quantum-encrypted data miners. Download initiated. But Marcus, these files. This isn't just research data. Marcus joined her at the terminal, his eyes widening as he scanned the information. The Council wasn't just developing countermeasures to the protocol. They were studying it, learning from it, and they'd discovered something terrifying. Maya, he transmitted. Are you seeing this? Yes, her voice was grim. The protocol. It's not just changing local spacetime. It's changing the fundamental structure of the universe itself. Every time we use it, the alterations become more permanent. The Council thinks. They think we're accidentally rewriting the basic laws of physics. A massive explosion rocked the station. More Council forces were incoming, including what looked like their elite quantum commandos. Time was running out. Download complete, Sarah reported. But we've got company. Lots of it. Marcus made a quick decision. Maya, remember that last resort option we discussed? The one you said might tear a hole in reality. Marcus, no. The calculations aren't complete. We don't know what it'll do. Better than letting the Council capture us and learn all our secrets. He turned to his team. Quantum positions. Now. Shadow Team moved into formation as Marcus activated his suit's emergency protocols. The Council forces burst into the chamber, weapons charged. But they hesitated when they saw the humans making no move to fight or flee. Maya, Marcus said quietly, initiate total quantum collapse. The world went white. Reality screamed. Every quantum possibility in a kilometer radius tried to exist simultaneously. When the effect ended, Meridian 7 was gone. Not destroyed, simply relocated to another quantum state, another possible reality. Shadow Team found themselves floating in space, their suits protecting them from vacuum. The Nightshade, their stealth ship, decloaked nearby. Status, Marcus asked as they were brought aboard. The station's gone, Maya reported. But the data. Marcus, we need to get this to Admiral Chen immediately. The Council's not just fighting us anymore. They're trying to prevent what they see as the end of reality itself. Marcus stared out at the space where Meridian 7 had been. The war had just become something far more complex than humanity versus the Council. They were fighting over the very nature of reality, and neither side fully understood the weapons they were using. As the Nightshade vanished into quantum-shifted space, Marcus wondered if anyone could truly win such a war. But he knew humanity would never stop fighting for its right to exist, to grow, to change. Even if that change reshaped the universe itself. The Shadow War continued, but its stakes had grown far beyond what anyone had imagined. The next phase would determine not just the fate of humanity or the Council, but the fundamental nature of reality itself. Chains of command. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so chaotic. Representatives from 40 spacefaring species argued across the crystalline arena, their voices mixing into a cacophony of anger and fear. High Arbiter Zax Corian watched from his elevated position, his iridescent scales dulled with stress. "The humans must be stopped," thundered Ambassador Till of the Mareth Confederation, his fur bristling with electromagnetic charge. "They're not just winning battles, they're unmaking the very foundations of reality." The data retrieved by Shadow Team had spread through Council space like a virus. The truth about the Prometheus Protocol's effects on fundamental physics had shattered the Council's unity. Some species demanded immediate surrender. Others called for the deployment of forbidden weapons that hadn't been used since the ancient wars. "We started this war," reminded Ambassador Lyra of the Aetherian Collective, her crystalline form pulsing with measured light. "We executed their people. We pushed them into developing these weapons. And now they threaten everything," interrupted General Vex of the Cronin Empire. "Reality itself bends around their ships. The quantum forecasters say if this continues, the changes will become permanent. Universal constants will shift. The very laws that make civilization possible will." A massive explosion rocked the chamber. Quantum-shifted space tore open in the center of the room, and before the Council's guards could react, a hologram of Admiral Sarah Chen materialized. "Honorable representatives of the Galactic Council," she said, her voice calm but carrying an edge of steel. "I apologize for this unconventional appearance, but you've made conventional diplomacy rather difficult." Zax Corian rose, his ceremonial armor gleaming. "You dare breach the sacred chambers off." "We dare because you left us no choice," Sarah cut him off. "But I'm not here to argue. I'm here to offer you a choice." She gestured, and the hologram expanded to show the current state of the war. Council space was riddled with quantum anomalies, areas where reality itself had been rewritten by the protocol. Their mighty fleets were in disarray, their once unbreakable supply lines disrupted by human raiders who could shift between quantum states at will. "Your scientists are right," Sarah continued. "The Prometheus Protocol is changing the fundamental nature of reality. Every battle pushes the universe further from what you know, what you can predict and control. But ask yourselves, who is really responsible for this?" Meanwhile, in a secure quantum bunker beneath Mars, Dr. Maya Patel watched the transmission while continuing her analysis of the data Marcus's team had retrieved. Admiral Chen's niece, Sarah, stood beside her, monitoring the quantum feeds. "The Council's breaking apart," Sarah observed. "Their power structure can't handle this level of uncertainty." Maya nodded absently, her attention focused on the quantum matrices floating before her. "The protocol's evolution is accelerating. Look at these patterns. It's not just changing reality, it's learning." On Earth, the Combined Defense Council was having its own crisis. General Zhang paced the underground chamber as reports flooded in from across human space. The Council's defeat seemed inevitable, but the cost of victory might be higher than anyone had imagined. "The quantum anomalies are spreading," he reported to the assembled leaders. "We're winning the war, but we're changing the rules of physics to do it. Some of our scientists are saying we might be approaching a point of no return." Back in the Council chamber, Admiral Chen's hologram continued. "We never wanted this war. Humanity was ready to join your civilization, to share our innovations, to grow together. Instead, you chose fear. You chose execution. You chose to try to force us into submission." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But we're not like you. We don't demand submission. Even now, we offer another path." The chamber erupted again, but this time there was a different tenor to the chaos. Fear mixed with hope, anger with desperation. The Council's mighty civilization, built on predictability and control, was facing an enemy that had turned uncertainty itself into a weapon. In orbit around Jupiter, Marcus Way and Shadow Team waited in their quantum-shifted ship, ready to strike if the Council rejected the offer. But Marcus hoped it wouldn't come to that. He'd seen enough of what the protocol could do. "The choice is yours," Admiral Chen's hologram declared. "Continue this war, and watch as reality itself changes beyond your ability to control or predict. Or accept that the galaxy must change, must grow, must adapt. Accept that humanity has earned its place among the stars, not as servants, but as equals. She spread her hands. We've prepared a peace proposal, one that guarantees the sovereignty of all species, that establishes new protocols for technological development and sharing, that ensures no single power can ever again threaten genocide because they fear change. The quantum field holding her hologram stable flickered. You have 6 hours to decide. Choose wisely. The hologram vanished, leaving the council in stunned silence. Then the arguments began anew, but with a different focus. The mighty Galactic Council, which had ruled space for millennia, faced a choice that would reshape civilization itself. Zax Corian stared at the space where the hologram had been, his ancient mind racing. The humans had turned the Council's greatest weapon, fear of change, against itself. They'd forced the galaxy to confront the truth that change was inevitable, that trying to prevent it only led to greater upheaval. On the Hyperion, Admiral Chen waited, surrounded by displays showing the quantum state of nearby space. The protocol's effects were visible now even to normal sensors, reality shimmering with possibility. "Do you think they'll accept?" her aide asked. Sarah smiled grimly. "They don't have a choice. We've shown them that trying to cage humanity only makes us more dangerous. Now we're offering them a chance to adapt, to evolve. Some of them are starting to understand. That's what life does. It changes, it grows, it transforms." The next 6 hours would determine the future not just of humanity or the Council, but of reality itself. The chains of command that had bound galactic civilization were breaking, and something new would have to take their place. In her lab, Maya watched the quantum fields pulse with potential. The protocol was still evolving, still learning, still changing. Perhaps that was the greatest lesson humanity had taught the galaxy, that change itself was neither good nor bad, but simply inevitable. The universe held its breath, waiting to see what form that change would take. Reckoning. The 6 hours had passed. In the quantum-shifted space around Earth, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The Prometheus protocol had evolved beyond anyone's predictions, creating patterns in spacetime that even Maya's most advanced sensors struggled to interpret. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the Hyperion's bridge, watching as the Council's response materialized across all quantum frequencies. But something was wrong. The transmission carried signatures of weapons powering up, of massive energy buildups across Council space. "They're not surrendering," she realized. "They're launching everything they have." Maya's voice cut across the quantum link, urgent and afraid. "Sarah, the quantum readings, they're using something ancient, something that predates the Council itself." The void erupted. Massive ships emerged from quantum tunnels, vessels that didn't match any known Council design. Their surfaces writhed with reality-warping energies that made the Prometheus protocol's effects look tame by comparison. The World Breakers, High Arbiter Zax Corian's voice boomed across all frequencies, sealed away after the ancient wars, when they nearly destroyed the galaxy itself. If we must unmake reality to save it from human chaos, so be it. The massive vessels moved with impossible grace, their weapons literally unwriting portions of spacetime. The first shots erased 3 human defense platforms from existence, not destroying them, but removing them from reality so completely that even their quantum echoes vanished. In her lab beneath Mars, Maya worked frantically, the protocol's matrices spinning around her. The World Breakers. They're not just weapons. They're like the protocol, but evolved over millions of years. They don't just change reality. They impose their own version of it. Marcus Way and Shadow Team, watching from their stealth position near Jupiter, saw the true horror of what was happening. The Council would rather destroy everything than accept change, he transmitted. Classic cornered animal response. But humanity had spent its entire existence adapting, evolving, finding ways to survive. As the world breakers advanced, Admiral Chen gave the order that would change everything. Maya, initiate final evolution. The Prometheus protocol had been learning, growing, becoming something more than its creators had intended. Now, faced with weapons that could unmake reality itself, it did what humanity had always done. It adapted. Quantum fields around the human fleet began to shift in ways that defied conventional physics. The protocol wasn't just changing local spacetime anymore. It was rewriting the fundamental laws of reality in real time, creating new physics that could counter the world breakers' attacks. Multiple quantum state collapse. Maya reported. The protocol. It's not just evolving anymore. It's accelerating evolution itself. The battle that followed defied description in normal spacetime terms. The world breakers tried to impose their version of reality, while human ships, enhanced by the evolved protocol, created counter-realities. Space itself became a battlefield of competing physical laws. Sarah watched as her tactical displays tried to make sense of what was happening. Ships existed in multiple states simultaneously. Weapons fire both did and didn't happen, and causality itself became negotiable. We need to end this, she realized. Not just the battle, the whole cycle of fear and control. She opened a channel to Maya. Doctor, you said the protocol was learning. Learning what? Maya's hands flew over her quantum interfaces. Everything. Physics, biology, consciousness itself. It's like reality is becoming aware of itself through our attempts to change it. Sarah made a decision. Can we share that awareness? Not just with our ships, but with everyone. Even the Council. You want to elevate the entire galaxy to a new level of consciousness. Maya sounded both terrified and exhilarated. It's possible. The protocol's evolution has been leading to this. But Sarah, we don't know what we'll become. Better that than destroying ourselves out of fear, Sarah replied. Do it. The Prometheus protocol's final evolution began. Reality itself seemed to pause as new quantum states propagated across space. The world breakers, for all their power, couldn't stop the change, because it wasn't being imposed from outside, but growing from within spacetime itself. Every being in the galaxy felt it. A moment of transcendent awareness, of understanding that reality wasn't a fixed set of rules to be controlled, but a living, evolving thing that they were all part of. The world breakers stopped firing. Their crews, like everyone else, were experiencing the transformation. Zaxkorian's voice, when it came again, was changed. What have you done? What humanity has always done, Sarah replied. Faced with an impossible situation, we evolved. And this time, we brought everyone with us. The transformation wasn't instantaneous, but it was inevitable. The Council's fear of change became meaningless as they gained the ability to perceive and understand change itself. Humanity's drive to evolve found new expression in a reality that could evolve with them. Maya's readings stabilized, showing the universe forever changed but not destroyed. The quantum fields are stabilizing, but at a higher level of complexity. We haven't just changed the rules. We've changed how rules themselves work. Marcus and Shadow Team emerged from stealth, their quantum-shifted states now just one of many ways to exist in the new reality. So what happens now? He asked. Now. Sarah looked out at the changed space before her. Now we do what humanity has always done. We explore. We learn. We grow. But this time, we do it together. The war was over, but its end wasn't marked by victory or defeat. Instead, it was marked by transformation. The Council's fear of change had led them to weapons that could unmake reality. Humanity's embrace of change had led them to remake it instead. In the decades that followed, the galaxy would learn to navigate this new existence. The Prometheus Protocol became not a weapon but a tool for understanding and shaping reality itself. The Council transformed from an institution of control to one of guidance, helping species navigate the endless possibilities of an evolving universe. And humanity. They did what they had always done. They adapted. They explored. They pushed boundaries. But now, those boundaries weren't just physical or technological. They were the boundaries of reality itself. The universe had changed, and with it, all of its inhabitants. The war that began with an attempt to cage humanity's potential had ended by unleashing everyone's potential. It wasn't the end anyone had expected, but perhaps it was the one they had needed all along. As Sarah Chen looked out at the transformed space before her, she remembered the words that had started this journey. Remember, you chose this path. The Council had chosen a path of fear, but humanity had shown them a different way. Not control, but adaptation. Not stasis, but evolution. The reckoning had come, and with it, a new dawn for all sentient life. The story of humanity's war for survival had become the story of the galaxy's awakening. And somewhere in the quantum fields that now permeated all of space, the Prometheus Protocol continued to evolve. Watching, learning, growing, just like the civilization that had created it. The end was just another beginning.